hope you're all doing well. I know I didn't do one last week. As I explained to some of you, it was Greek Easter, and I just need a little break. For the little ones, I did one on actually how to sit on the piano, because I've noticed all of you have some rather bad habits when you're at home when I'm teaching on Zoom. It's funny because when you come to all your lessons, you have like such great posture, but when you're actually at home, because you feel comfortable, and some of you, as I was mentioning, the little ones seem to be wearing your pajamas, I do notice. It's okay. Be comfortable. I'm in the leggings. Like, I live in my leggings, so don't feel bad. But I just wanted to kind of review a little bit about hand position with you and kind of arm position. Because for some of you, I've noticed that you're kind of all over the place. And I've also noticed that for some of you, your keyboards are a little bit high. So you want to make sure that you are just at the same length at your piano. So you don't want to be too high. You don't, right? Sometimes I notice some of you are at this level, right? So you want to be a little bit lower. So if you're doing it on a desk or something like that, see if you can like add like well, we don't really have them anymore, but like a thick book. I was gonna say a phone book. You guys are probably like, what is that? But yeah, ask your mom or dad if they can give you even a couple books and just sit on them just to raise your arms a little bit, because you guys are just a little bit, some of you, not all of you, but a few of you are just a little bit, and I feel like you're playing like this. And so a lot of you guys are, you're late beginners, early intermediate, so you don't feel it. But as you get more advanced, that is going to be an issue. And I know for some of you, you were about to get pianos, but with all of this happening, it's been kind of postponed. So the best way is if your keyboard is a little bit high, make sure you're sitting on a book or two books or something. And mom and dad, you guys can help out with this too, just to make sure that or maybe, if you can raise a chair. I know some of you guys were using sort of spinny chairs. If you can make sure the chair is high enough, just to make sure that wrist thing, because that's going to cause strain here, right? So that's the first thing. The other thing is, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, but again, when you come to your lesson, you guys do all this stuff perfect. So I'm going to tell you a little story. So I've told many of you, so if you guys have heard the story, I'm sorry, but it's a good reminder. So in university, a classmate of mine suddenly developed a lot of back pain, and she couldn't figure it out. And she went to the doctor, and he was like, well, you're a pianist, so maybe it's something that you're doing at the piano. So for our performance classes, she came to all of us and said, hey, during performance class, can you watch, am I doing anything, kind of weird? Because it wasn't even her back, it was like her hips that were mostly hurting. And they said that her muscle, I guess they were stretched. I'm not sure how they knew this, but they said that her one hip muscle was kind of stretched. So she was like, we were watching her and we're like, you have really good position. You're like, your posture's great, your hand position's great. And I'm going to go through it in a second and review what it is, in case you're like, what is the proper position? How do I sit at the piano? So anyways, so this poor girl, this good friend of mine, she was in so much pain. And we couldn't figure it out. And then one day, another friend of ours and myself were in the practice room, and each practice room had a window. And we peeked in. We used to do this like weird face thing at each other. We would peek in. And I peek in with my other friend, and there I see she's sitting with her legs crossed, and she's practicing. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's what the problem is. And so actually she ended up going for physio. That's how bad it was. And she told her physio that that's what she practiced. And he said, oh yeah, absolutely. If you're sitting for long periods of time in a weird, like cross-legged kind of position, that's what the issue is. Now, the interesting thing, and this is the crazy thing, we don't even know how long she was doing it. She was completely unaware of it. She's like, I had no idea I was doing it. So we think that she probably was doing it from when she was a kid, so like probably around your guys' age, because I think she started piano when she was like 5. So who knows? Maybe she started when she was about, 7 or 8, like all you guys are. And it became a habit, and she was not even aware of it. And so now, she was in her early 20s and it started to hurt, right? So, and then she started, and this is the funniest part, she started noticing that when she sat at her computer, she also sat in that position. And so it was between the piano and the computer. And so all of you guys, I think this is why I wanted to cover it this week, is because we're spending so much time in front of our computers, right? Your schoolwork's all in front of your computer. You're spending more time at the computer and on your piano or keyboard. So be really aware of how you're sitting, and if you're not sure, ask your mom or your dad, or if you have access to way to, you know, if mom can videotape you, videotape yourself and see, am I sitting, you know, in a position that's not going to hurt myself? Because that's the other thing too, you know, none of us have actually spent this much, especially you guys, right, haven't spent this much time at your computer or your well, even when you're at the piano, you're on the computer, right? So hope that helps. So just to review, you don't want to sit too close. I'm going to move this a little bit back so you can see. You don't want to sit too close. You want to make sure that your bum is on the bench, but not too far back, because I notice a lot of you sit quite far back, right? But if you are, that means your body weight is not even, right? So you want to almost think that you and the bench, right? And some of you have shorter benches, some of you have bigger benches like I do. So yeah, you want to make sure that your bum is, you know, not all the way, right? It's not like you're sitting in your chair, right? You don't want the back of your knees to touch the bench. You want to create like a tripod effect. That's what you want to think about. You want to almost think that you're creating a tripod between you and the piano bench. Now, the other thing too is you want to make sure, like I said, for some of you that are still stuck on your keyboards, they're a little bit high, right? So you want to make sure that you're raised up, right? And then you want to watch your wrists. And I noticed a lot of times you guys kind of have a tendency to play like this, right? And a lot of times in your lessons, I'll correct you and then you'll create the habit, right? But right now I can't physically come and fix you, right? So you want to be really aware of your wrists, right? You don't want them up unless you're playing something and I've specifically said you need to do it this way, right? But for the majority of it, you want to make sure that your wrists are flat, right? And you don't want any tension in your shoulders or your neck. And if sometimes when we're playing and you're practicing, and because you guys are on your electronics as much, right? You're either like this on your phones or you're on your computer. Maybe you're looking up a little bit, especially when you're shorter. I know because I'm short, I have a tendency on my one computer, I end up looking up. So you want to make sure that your neck is nice and straight when you're playing the piano at least, right? And yeah, so this wanted to share that with you guys. Hope that helps. I miss seeing you all very much in person. Thank goodness we have technology and I can be able to teach you guys online, but still I miss seeing you guys all in person. And yes, have a great day and I'll see you at your lesson. Bye.